Hi, this is Richard Chamberlain. Welcome back to the Protecting Your Family's Future podcast. This is episode number 31. Today we're going to be talking about estate planning if you have a blended family. So if you're a regular listener to our program, I want to thank you for joining us. And if you're new to the show, I want to encourage you to go back and listen to the first 10 episodes. Those really have a lot of information about estate planning, a lot of the issues, a lot of the tools that we use, some good foundational information. So I want to encourage you to go and listen to those episodes. But in today's episode, as I said, we're going to be talking about estate planning if you have a blended family. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, a blended family is a family where we have children generally from a prior marriage. So you might have a situation where we have your kids and my kids. We might have your kids and our kids. You might have your kids, my kids, and our kids. So all kinds of different ways that can come out, but all of them have really significant estate planning issues that need to be addressed. More than anything, in a blended family, we find situations where if you don't act proactively in making a plan to cover your goals, to make sure that what you want to have happen actually will happen, those things probably won't happen. If you kind of approach this, I'm married and I'm going to leave everything to my spouse, and then my spouse will take care of it and do things the way I think they should be done, then it might not happen that way. So let's look at an example. Let's say two people are married. They each have children from a prior marriage. And when one passes away, they leave everything to the surviving spouse. And then when that spouse passes away, they leave everything to their own children. Now, in that case, the first spouse who passed away, their children have been disinherited. We could have a situation where, we want things to go equally between our children, whether it's yours and mine or yours, mine, and ours. We want everything to be divided equally among the children. Well, if we just leave it so that it is all to one spouse and hope that they will follow through with those plans, it might or it might not happen. Things change with people's lives, especially after the first spouse passes away. The relationship between that surviving spouse and the stepchildren can be very strained. There can be issues that come out, and that surviving spouse may not want to leave any assets to those stepchildren anymore because of the way that they are being treated now that mom or dad is gone. Now true feelings are going to come out. So that can be a potential situation. You can have a situation where, we had a couple of months ago, a family who came in, and one of the spouses had received an inheritance from her parents. And the stipulation from her parents was, when you pass away, these assets need to go to your children and not your stepchildren. So these were, family legacy type assets. And so they needed to be very careful in their planning about how those particular assets were distributed specifically to her children and not to all of the children. You can have a situation in a blended family where you come into the marriage with assets and with children, and you might want to have your assets go to your children, and your spouse wants his or her assets to go to their children. You can have a situation where, we look at the children equally, but one of the spouses comes in to the marriage with significantly more assets than the other. Well, how are we going to do that then? Are we going to divide everything equally among all of the kids, or will there be some kind of an allocation between the children for to reflect the difference in assets that each spouse brought into the marriage? So there's just so many issues that need to be addressed. Really, the thing that needs to happen first of all in this process is the spouses need to have a conversation. How ultimately do they want to treat their respective children and or their joint children in their estate plan? Will things be divided equally? Will it be my assets go to my kids, your assets go to your kids? Will it be something else? Because when you go into the process of having a conversation with an attorney, those, we can help identify those questions, but we can't help answer those questions because those are entirely personal. And without you knowing what you want to accomplish, we won't be able to help you get there. So I guess the real point of this episode is estate planning, if you have a blended family, is complicated. And if it's not addressed, it can be an absolute disaster for the surviving family. So please, if you have a blended family, take care of this planning, meet with an experienced attorney who works with blended families, who can help you identify the issues, identify your options, and get you the documents that you need that will put the plan together the way you need it to be. So I hope that's helpful for you, just to identify the issues and the needs. If you would like to talk about your own estate planning and you'd like to meet with one of our attorneys, you can request an appointment. I'll put the link in the show notes. And I hope this has been helpful for you, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks.